Hello and good morning or afternoon. Today I'm going to be going over Google Forms, kind of the basics, pretty much how to create and start one, and then how to use the different types of questions. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get into your drive and get into the folder that you want to save your forms to. Once you get there, you're going to click New, go down to More, and then create a Google Forms. When you do so, a new form is going to pop up. Okay. Once you get into here, you can start creating your questions. So I just want to kind of go over the question types. So when you go over here, you can click Add Question. When that pops up, you're going to get a question box. Sometimes it will default to short answer, and sometimes it will default to multiple choice. So when you get in here, this box right here allows you to pick all the different types of questions. So you can do short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, drop down menus, allow students to upload files, do a linear scale, multiple choice grid, and then a checkbox grid. You can also have them put down the date and the time, and time also has a duration, which is the one that I'll be showing you today. So the first thing we can do is start with a short answer. So you give them a question, and this question should be able to be answered within one word or just a few words. So name one way in which you can increase your cardiovascular strength system. Maybe that would be something like running or jogging. Or doing some other sort of cardio exercise. So it'd just be a very short answer. You can then come in and do a paragraph. This is good for reflecting after somebody has done something. So you can ask students to reflect, and then their long answer can have as many words as you want. So you're looking at one paragraph or more. Okay? So another type of question you can have is a multiple choice. So what's cool about this one is once you put in your question itself, you can come up with the answers. You can come up with as many answers as you want. I recommend keeping it small. But the cool thing about this is you can start and add in images so that when you actually get to it and their question looks like this. So this would be really good for those students who are in the lower grade levels, such as kindergarten and first grade, who do not yet know how to really read, okay? So they can visually see something. Okay? You can also come in and do a checkbox. Checkboxes allow you to kind of do multiple choice, but allow you to do then more than one answer. So you can pick as few or as many of these as you want for students to record what they know. So it's just a multiple choice with more than one answer. Here's one that I really like. This is going to be really helpful for you guys since you have large volume classrooms. Since a lot of times you're not going to have very many students be able to log in to these forms with their own accounts. So doing it this way with a drop-down menu allows you to put in everyone's name, and then that student then can select their name from here, which is definitely helpful for the lower grades to be able to say, oh yeah, that's me, click that name, and then they can select their answers based on that. Okay, that would look like this. So you have your choose, and they just say, oh, hey, my name is Frank. They click that, and then they can move on and answer the questions, and you know who is the one answering those. Okay. This one is cool, so if you want students to demonstrate something and then they take a photo or a video of it, or find something online as an example of it, then you can have them upload a file. The only thing with this one is that they're going to have to make sure that they are logged in so that file is associated with their own login because it saves to their Google Drive. If you're looking for kind of an opinions-based thing, you can do this what's called a linear scale, and that linear scale just give them like a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or something, and then they would choose their answer in between it. So they'd say, you know, I'm not likely or very likely type of question. I don't see very many of us using that one, except for, you know, what did you think of, you know, that as an opinion? for one of their answers. We're going to go into this multiple choice grid. So if you're going to have the same answers over and over and over, so if you're going to be reusing this, and this for multiple questions at one time, this would be really good for this. So if you take a look at this, so what type of exercise would you do for each sport? And here's the sports, and then here's the answers. So you have the same answers over and over and over for each sport. Allows you to kind of get it really quickly instead of making a whole bunch of different multiple choice questions. Now your grid box, checkbox grid, it's kind of the same thing, only when you're doing your multiple choice, you can only select one of these answers. So if you go down here, if I click over here, it won't let me. It gets rid of that one. So I can only choose one per question. What's cool is when you get to this one, you can choose more than one answer for each of these sections, which is really nice if you want to be able to do more than one at a time. Next one is the date here option, which allows you to choose when you did something. So if you're going to use the same spreadsheet and you want to do the same students, but then you want to compare that data from the beginning of year to end of year using that same form, as long as you have different dates, then you can start going later and formatting it and sorting that information later in your Google Sheets based on date or based on names and things like that, which then allows you to do easy, quick compares using your sheets later, which is pretty awesome. The last one I want to show you today is time. You can do just what time is it, which I don't recommend because you can also do that in this one, include time. So I'm not really a big fan of that one for what you guys have been using it for, but you can use duration, which I think is awesome. So when you go to record your data, so how long did it take you to run the mile run, you can insert that information here, sort later by maybe your fastest students to slowest students, and with a click of the button. So that's actually really awesome. So those are your different types of questions that I think you guys would be able to use, and kind of how to use them, and a little bit about what you would use them for. Talk about including some of those photos in there so that when you guys go to create your own kind of self-evaluations or evaluations for your students to start tracking that data, you can start doing that, and maybe you have an idea of what you would actually use that for. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Next time we will go into looking at responses and then maybe some of your settings to be able to customize this even more and check your data.